Good afternoon. Earlier this year, I was privileged to speak on a panel alongside Harvard Professor Eric Mazur. And these were the questions posed to us. With the world around us so rapidly changing, what is the future of teaching? In an uncertain world where artificial intelligence treatments are more effective than the average psychoanalyst, and where robots in an English class can spark empathy and improve students' writing, are face-to-face classes really necessary? Because, after all, what difference does a teacher make? My answer to these questions start with two more questions. What is the purpose of education? And as educators, what is our why? My why has formed the foundation of both who we are and how we are together at Makybe Rise. This slide is the first of our school beliefs because our teachers know that academic learning is a deeply social process. Who our children are and how they are together matters, and it has an enormous impact on their capacity to learn. It really is rocket science. Our purpose as teachers is to grow young people who have all the skills and knowledge they need to live a good life. Ask yourself, what does a good life look like to you? Artificial intelligence may be able to do 1 million different and amazing things, but it can't teach a child the fundamental social skills needed to live a good life. A teacher can explicitly teach and model and guide a child as they learn to make friends, learn to agree and disagree respectfully, learn to negotiate conflict and arrive at a win-win resolution, learn to see something from someone else's point of view, to be happy for another's achievements. In the classroom, our children's brains are exponentially primed for learning when the adults and students embrace the social skills needed to invest in each other's success. This kind of social learning environment doesn't just develop by chance. It's the intentional work of an exemplary teacher. Toni Morrison once said, "When a child walks in the room, your child or anybody else's, do your eyes light up? That's what they're looking for." Artificial intelligence can't provide children with the social feedback they need to develop the healthy attachments that are essential for brain development. I say to my teachers at Makybe, your eyes are a mirror to your students. Every day, every child looks at you and they see themselves reflected there. It's your job to reflect back to them their best possible selves. It's only then that learning can happen. Because you see, not all children's brains and emotions arrive at school in the same place each day. This term, one of my teachers was reading the notes left by her students in the worry bag that hangs near the door as just one strategy her students use to both let her know what's going on in their lives and also to try and park their worries for a while and to create the cognitive space they need to be present to their learning. One Thursday, this is just some of what she read. My mum and dad are getting divorced. My mum just got told she has terminal cancer. I'm under a lot of pressure to get good grades for high school. On the same day, in the class immediately next door, that teacher was running a circle of concern to help her students learn how to address a big conflict they were having with each other. One of her boys tearfully looked into the eyes of his teacher and said, "Will you love me less if I tell you what I've done?" Teachers make a difference, and a difference that it's hard for me to imagine any kind of artificial intelligence ever making. Teachers create potential in students through what happens in their hearts and in their brain chemistry when they look in our eyes. They live up to a teacher's expectations. Students will persevere with learning that they struggle with for a teacher that they love. As one of our Year Sixes reflected, I never knew how important our safe learning environment is for some kids. Teacher-student relationships are one of the most effective influences on student achievement. Creating and sustaining these strong relationships takes continuous and intentional effort. A good friend and mentor always said to me, "Steph, learning just doesn't happen by osmosis." As she quite rightly points out, pedagogy really is a science, a very human science. At Makybe, we use our AVID system for school improvement to inform our pedagogical approach. The learning that is our core purpose requires a teacher. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Collaboration, that unique interplay of human interaction that is so fundamental to this social process we call learning, sits in the middle of the AVID Wicker framework because all other learning hangs off it. Through the careful construction of a classroom environment where students feel safe, known and connected, our teachers switch children's brains on for learning. And then, based on what they know about their children, they intentionally plan high-impact instructional strategies that match both the students and the learning. Through their teachers' agile use of Wicker strategies, students dive into collaborative inquiry that enables them to wrestle with learning that challenges them and facilitates them to make deep connections between themselves and their learning. And all the while, their teacher is constantly monitoring each and every one of them and providing the feedback needed to continue to drive the learning. Teachers anticipate, plan, and improvise. They know when to keep asking questions, when to step in, and when to step out of learning. They know how to nurture the metacognition needed for students to understand how their own learning works so that they can think critically when they encounter obstacles and problem solve their way around it. Robots do not have this kind of situational cognition needed to teach productive struggle. Teachers do. Particularly AVID teachers do, and they use it to scaffold the learning of every child every day. Thank you.